협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다. 밀리언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
All right, here we go. Game number 1 of today. We've had a couple of longer days here at the LCK. Friday, Saturday, you were getting your money's worth, you know, if you got tickets. We had 6 games and then 5 games. What are we expecting today? Is this one going to go long? I feel like Bro in the past have been known to kind of sit back and not try to bring the action. DRX have struggled a little bit with that as well, so I am worried that, especially in this first series, we might see a little bit of slow gameplay.
I am very confident that it'll be a 3 in a row of long days, Feldas. And if you're lucky, you know, and you. Gotta say, particularly with how DRX their match against Foxes went, there was a lot of upside, but the way in which they try to close out some of the games was not necessarily faith-inspiring. So I do think that that's going to be the case here, and the same, honestly, can be said for Brion. Obviously, they haven't been able to get a win, but even at their best, Brion were never known for being a fast team. Outside of the, one in like 10 games where Umti just went full general and...
Yeah, he just ganked every lane and then it ended in 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's happened a few times. This is not one of those lists where you're like, oh, all of these players would... BDD's in there. Like Faker's in there. Showmaker's in there. These are some experienced players that are also on good teams that still lost on this pick. Hence are... I want to say... apprehension when it got locked in.
Yeah. The groans from the crowd kind of told the story. Here comes Sponge. He's on a ward. And Gideon can just mostly ignore that. Might have to give up his wolves, but that's better than losing his tree life. And he's going to spot him here. They don't have any prio on bot side, of course, so Sponge can kind of just... This is his jungle, actually. He's just moving into his jungle, thinking about if he wants to farm some of his jungle, but eventually he does move away, and Gideon will get his wolves.
Well, I actually would have loved if they went for an invade there. With the amount of jungle prio they have, I think they really could have bullied Gideon out, because now you've wasted a ton of time. Gideon is going to be able to just resume his full clear. And with picks like Granada especially, I think trying to go for these early invades and forcing Gideon to back actually waste a lot of time. Could have been really valuable. The one upside of this is that Plata and Teddy know that Gideon is towards the top side of the map and is 100% not going to bother them. So they can remain very aggressive in this 2v2, which is ideally what you want to do on the Kalista.
Yeah, they're definitely doing a good job of that down here in the bottom lane. Gideon was able to move into the river with some help from Morgan and pick up a Scuttle Crab and just go back to farming. So no real effect from the Lee Sin onto the Maokai. And Gideon just gets to basically full clear his whole jungle, which is what he wants to do at this point. Karis does take a bit of damage, but Sitab is a bit low on mana, so yeah, I would expect this to be just fine in the mid lane.
Yeah, big reason here as well is that Envy and Effort don't have to be worried about them getting dove on this wave, even though Teddy and Plata were trying to stack the wave because they also spotted Sponge. As Gideon...
Sponge, I mean, this is on the side of the map where Akaris is, and Setab is able to get over and just hop on over to Setab, so I suppose he stole some of those, but Gideon's smite is on cooldown, so perhaps not.
Yeah, he did. I think he got some small ones. He definitely didn't get the big raptor, though. Gideon smote that one away, and it's again, I don't want to see this type of apprehension from DRX, given that... Once the burst comes through, especially from Gideon, like the early cooldowns of Maokai are actually quite high. Could have looked for something there, but Setup didn't have a lot of mana, so I think this specific instance does make sense. And at the same time, DRX are starting to build some leads, right? We see the bot lane in particular working out quite nicely, as Sponge is going to start up this dragon, and you don't have to dive, you don't have to go for these early all-ins. If you can just start stacking dragons with your Kalista Renata very early on.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, the dragon stacking, I think it got nerfed right in the preseason just a little bit, some of the individual dragons, but
still...
It's still good.
Yeah.
And it's much better than the Void Bubs. The Void Bubs are nice. And you see that Gideon's getting them because, you know, he might as well. He doesn't have much of his jungle to farm at this point in time. There's nowhere to gank, so it's kind of just like a consolation prize in my mind most of the time when you are getting these Bubs. And I was just going to go back and go straight to his Gromp and continue clearing it out, as you do.
They really do their best, but they just can't quite stack up to... Dragon's getting A's, straight A's, excels at everything. In the grubs, they're like, you're a hard worker. Like, that doesn't...
They're like a solid B-, C+, and they're, you know, they're doing their homework, they're working hard, but it's not quite...
It's just not the
working. They're not really getting much out of it, but... Yeah, it can be. I feel like it's very win more. You know, like if you get a big play and then you take down a turret because you have a bunch of Bubs, that feels very nice. But especially in the LCK, sometimes we just don't have that wild swing that some other regions have, where it's like, okay, you know, we made a huge play and now we're going to get something big off of it. It's like, oh, we traded 1 for 1 and now we're just going to go back to our lanes and kind of do our thing.
And I'm still happy they are there, because in the past what would have happened is you draft Kalista Renata and then you just get all the dragons and the enemy team doesn't get anything. Yes. Well, they get Herald, but obviously Herald is a lot later. You can always already be... And also sometimes, yeah, you can already be on your second Herald at that point, or on your second Dragon rather at that point if you are very quick, like we saw here. So I am happy that the objective is there, but yeah, in terms of power level, I don't think they're supposed to be even, but it's still very heavily skewed. Although this is the LCK, and we do love just waiting till like third Dragon before anything really goes down. As Sponge would find Gideon here.
Gideon just bramble smashes him as he comes in and gets every single Raptor, does Gideon. Red buff is up. Sitab is like, maybe I can make something happen. We saw Canyon make an Azir look silly with his little...
Yeah, that was a little close.
Advance, but yeah, he's fine.
If Sponge gets that Raptor and he hits 6, Gideon might die. Teddy
here, Ignite as well, but Teddy will just hop away.
Plata, man. Great handshake there. Keeping his AD carry safe. Sponge does now have his kick available. There's also ult here for Teddy. They might look towards something, but with Gideon showing, I don't think they want to run the risk.
Yeah, looks like Teddy wanted to back anyway on half health. And he will do just that. Level 6 hit for the bottom lane of Bro. So that was a nice little power spike. Neither side going for any aggressive plays just yet. It's top lane, the Yone going even with the Aatrox so far. It's still early days, but yeah, not really seeing the effect of the Yone counterpick just yet.
And generally, this is what you'd expect from the lane. Obviously, we've seen specific matchups. Again, most notably Zeus, who start winning the lane at like level 3 or 4. That is not something that we'd expect, and Yone does scale obscenely, or particularly when he has a lot of setup, like the Rakan and like the Maokai as well. We'll see how Teddy's able to deal with that. My big issue, though, is that it is a Yone pick into Renata, and that's always something I'm going to be a little bit apprehensive about. I feel like Renata just does such a good job at negating picks like the Akali, like the Yone, which are so reliant on getting these big bursts of damage, and then you get bailed out, and it feels like cheating, like a bailout does.
Renata's really good against Yone, Maokai, Akali, Rakan.
Yeah.
The Zaya's like, okay, like, kind of, but also she does ult in a straight line oftentimes, and, you know, if she goes up in the air, maybe you've got a little hostile takeover going, and then it works out. Morgan is not winning these trades. I
think you were very on the money, Valdas, with your assessment of this match and its pace.
We're just hanging. It's a lazy Sunday. It's a bro and brew.
It's a bro and brew. What did you have? What did you have? Did you have a coffee or a tea today?
I didn't have any coffee today, actually. I got a lot of sleep, and I was like, you know what? We got a lot of time today. Duke in the knock up here, as effort is going to go in for the ultimate and then just run away. But yeah, I had a... I had this... Well, I'm not going to name any brands on the stream anyway, but I did have some...
A nice tea.
I had a nice iced tea of some sort. No sugar, of course. 0 calories. Just hanging out, enjoying some time with my buddy Chronicler, watching some League of Legends. That's what it's all about, right?
It is. I just had a lot of water. I did make a really nice vanilla latte. For my partner, and then I realized that I wanted to make one for myself, but it was actually time for me to go to work. So then I had like one sip, and I'm like, man, this is delicious. I got like the real vanilla beans. It was amazing. Very, very happy. I didn't get to drink it though.
That sounds very nice.
It was. I'm a little sad. I'll make one for myself tomorrow.
Yeah.
But that would have been good. Instead, I just got one of the espressos at Low Park, which they're fine. They do the job. They're fine. They are coffee.
They are coffee. That's not the greatest compliment I've ever heard for a cup of espresso, but
I mean it's
true.
It's true. Yeah, it's not bad by any means,
Yeah,
it's just it's fine. It's there.
It's good enough.
It's good.
Why not? Just
why not?
Wall Park espresso. Now this Infernal Drake is being taken by Bro. The backs of the bottom lane of DRX not well timed, so they're not going to get in here and challenge this at all. They're just not here. And so that's a free Drake for Bro, as now we have the World Ender coming in. Morgan doesn't seem to care about that, as he gets Rascal very low, and Rascal is going to have to fly away.
Still has ults. Rascal does have his flash available, though, so I imagine he feels confident. As long as he can flash that, he could end up overextended. Cannon not being seen. But yeah, you were on the money with that one, Valdez. Teddy and Plata not being there means a free dragon. Nicely done there by Breon.
He's... Oh, look at this. But
yeah, he doesn't...
That's fine. He would have teleported to the turret anyway.
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, doesn't really change anything. He's just Bro and Brewing. Just hanging out. Yeah. Not going to get there on time. Is Ocean Soul currently the weakest soul? Or is it still Chemtech Soul?
That's it. I think it's comp dependent. But I think that they are contesting together, yeah. for the
You'd say it's like a 9th
viable
versus
title.
10th place Drake kind of situation?
You could say that.
Yeah.
I think Infernal Hextech are always going to be, those are going to be the golden boys.
Cloud's
because big
really good.
Big damage is great. Cloud to me is like the sleeper OP pick where you're like, everyone is severely underrating this.
Yeah.
Movement speed is broken, but at the same time, it doesn't have the same impact. It's fun. It's really good.
Yeah. But
you
don't
not feel it.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Morgan does have his ult, but he gets kicked against the wall, and he's just waiting Unbound Soul. He doesn't care. He doesn't even use his ult. He does have to flash, and now he's considering going in for it. Now Gideon's here. Ult comes in, and the ult into the turret is perfect from Morgan. The timing is actually insane, as Rascal with the bailout is not able to get it done, and it's a double kill for Gideon. And the two of them, Gideon and Morgan, just play that perfectly.
And the timing there from Gideon in particular, absolutely impeccable. If he doesn't ult at that given time, if he's like a second earlier, DRX back off. They realize that Maokai is there. But the unfortunate thing is that Q from Sponge hitting and then going back in happens at the exact moment where Gideon ults. So Gideon with pixel perfect timing, the fact that Plata is there doesn't end up mattering at all. And that is a gold lead now coming into fruition for Brian. The only downside, small one, but the downside nonetheless, is that the gold went to Gideon. And really, if that's on Yone, you're going to be feeling a lot. Like, that would have been a best case scenario, because getting it on Yone means that 1v1 for Aatrox is going to become nigh unplayable. I think this is a really snobbly matchup.
Look at the way that
really
Morgan
good.
plays this. It's actually just amazing.
Able to
He's like,
buffer, and then here,
go for it.
Gets them ready, walks away, and the flash as well.
I mean, that was like 8 out of 8 bait from Morgan.
진짜 나이스야 이거.
Said it's really nice.
진짜 나이스, 개 나이스. 위에까지 다
Really, really nice.
이거 적벌 와대해줘. 나 주방.
Both of them are just like, wow, that was insanely nice. And not just your average nice.
No, this is an extra level of us. It also means that we're not going to be breaking any first blood records in this game. Series is not over
yet. Yeah. Once the teams get a little bit more apprehensive by game 3, I think we'll We'll wait for it then.
Hey, might still happen in this game, Valdez.
Yeah. So with that extra gold, Gideon already has Frozen Heart, which is pretty good. And the Bombing Cinder here is a very nice little drift from Sponge. So after that play, DRX just decide to group up for the Rift Herald, and they're going to send it into mid. They're getting some good value out of this. Already half health is the tier 2. So getting some value on the map at least, but that side lane with Morgan now with the Blade of the Rune King already and up a level here on Rascal can become a bit of a problem for DRX.
And right now, you can also see the setup from Brian actually looking great here towards his objective. Something that I have been doing, I think, consistently a whole lot better than DRX is the vision control. Already setting up a full amount of preemptive vision towards this dragon. Want to start that stacking early. And you were asking me, you know, the value of an Ocean Soul. If you're something like a Yone and you're going to be side laning a lot against an Aatrox, getting that extra sustain, absolutely huge. As they try to gank Morgan.
Ooh, miss on the chains, and Morgan's just going to ult away. Just playing it safe.
That's Drake, though.
Yep. And bottom turret. It does look like DRX want to trade for the top turret here. 4v2.
Should be able to get that. Oh, I hope Envy and Effort don't walk up too far, but it looks like they are... Oh, no, Renata's there, guys. Oh, teleport coming in.
They're going to get the knock up here. World Ender procced. And after all that, they're going to keep this turret alive for now. It does look like DRX not 100% sure if they want to go for this. Kind of just stacking in the brush, but that ward is going to be huge from Effort. Nice timing. Spots 2 of them. And sees them rotating out, so just a turret advantage here for OK Savings Bank Brion.
And coming into this draft, you were talking about DRX, they need the early agency. They're now down a dragon. They don't really have a substantial gold lead. On the opposite, they're in a small deficit. The lead that Teddy had has kind of evaporated. The solo lanes are either even, like in the case of mid, but that's not a winning matchup in the 1v1, or behind. So DRX... I'm going to give him like 15 more minutes, you know, because I do think that you can still get a big fight where Teddy can pop off if Brion overextend into like a bailout or a big ultimate from Teddy. But after that, it does become difficult. The one saving grace, I think, is that Azir-Renata combination. I think that into Brion, that's always going to have value because they are extremely short-ranged and they're not going to have a choice at some point. But if your side lanes are losing this hard, Morgan can just keep that prio inside, rotate over first, and it's going to become really hard the moment that you don't have teleports, like for example right now on Satab, and you want to contest an objective, because Bro actually have been, I think, particularly given, you know, the what we've seen out of these two teams so far, have been great about proactively setting up objectives.
Yeah, no, I think it's a nice little glow up for them. They have been the team that was painfully passive for a lot of last year and even the first week, but now they've kind of figured it out. Maybe they got some success with it in some of their games. They didn't get any wins, but they were getting some leads, and perhaps Edgar just told them, just do what you were doing when you were winning that time in that one game. And it was working out. I'm very worried about the side lane as well. Rascal keeps on trying to take aggressive trades against Ione, who is very far ahead of him at this point in time, and it's understandably not working out. So if that keeps on happening, as you mentioned, the side lane for Morgan is just going to be putting on more and more pressure. Karis is doing his best in the side lane, and DRX are going to be on the back foot. Now, it is just the Ocean Soul, and I do believe that between these two teams, you know, souls and compositions aside, I feel like anything could happen.
Anything can still happen at any point. Oh,
yeah, because
absolutely.
Mistakes happen at this level, and I think that both of the teams are just going to be trying to avoid those as much as possible, so they do not get taken advantage of.
Some very Faker level advice.
Yes.
Like, don't
get hit by the skill shot. Hit your skill shot. We got a little one-on-one here, but we got some friends on the way, and it's Gideon alone. He doesn't have many, and the handshake is perfect, as it is predicting of the flash, which was very obvious, but nicely done by Pleta regardless, and that's just a tree in the wrong forest.
These are the moments we're talking about. Right now, it doesn't matter that much, I don't think, outside of the gold, although if they can get a catch on Morgan.
Trying to get onto Satab here. He's going to ult back on the Sponge, but the Q has landed already. Nice Q3 to get out from Morgan. And he's quite slippery here on this Ione, so even with 3 people coming on over, it's not going to be easy to lock him down.
But him getting chunked still was a win because it means that some gold does come back into the... I actually thought they were going to get the turret. Not going to be the case, but what we see here as well is that unless someone on Brion get caught, actually pushing objectives is so hard. Both outer turrets are still up because what happens is Satap walks into a lane, doesn't matter if it's Morgan or Karis, doesn't win the 1v1, so he has to forfeit prio of the wave, so you're always going to be behind the play. And very similar for Rascal. Maybe eventually, if he builds towards it, cannot be insta-popped by Akali. I think Yone is always going to lose. I don't know why Gideon was this deep. There wasn't really a lot of vision or setup or teammates.
He just walked into the blind jungle into the red.
Yes. Not again.
That's it. That's all that happened.
I'm not gonna question it too much, Val. It's just gonna accept what is unfolding in front of us. But if someone oversteps, DRX do have a still at this point really respectable amount of damage, and one big win for them is that the kill did go to Teddy.
It did.
That's something. I don't think it's enough, but it's a start.
So we have this Lichbane build again on the Azir. I think it's okay in this game. It's a better position from the last time.
It's a lot better,
which was against 2 tanks.
That was not good.
This time it feels a bit better. There aren't as many tanky members on the side of Bro. Obviously there are some. In terms of Gideon and even the Yone, Morgan can build some tanky items if need be. Now this is only the second Ocean Drake. And DRX have everybody here to get this. So Morgan says, okay, well, I'm just going to take a free turret. And that he will, even deny some of the CS. And yes, DRX will get the individual Ocean Drake. But we talked about the strength of the Ocean Soul and even the individual Ocean Drakes. It's not that high. So, bro, just let it go.
Karis, let it go. I know you're Akali. I know you're slippery, but... Okay, does let it go eventually. I thought he was actually going to make a big stand.
Do Baron.
Things going down. Yeah, they spun.
Spot. Just do Baron. It's fine. This is great. Karis has TP. And he's even delaying Sponge from getting in.
They know now. We see the pings going down, but it might be too late. I don't know about that.
I don't know about this one. No, you didn't delay him. Oh, you kind of did. I don't think it was necessary. But they got the Baron.
That's a win.
Hey. Nicely done, bro. As a team.
That was a good team play. It would have worked without Karis going in back with that E. They would have never been in time, but he did it, and that's what being a bro is all about.
He was just sending it for the bros, you know. He just wanted to say, hey, I'm part of the bro family. Let me show you that.
I know this is not necessary, but I am willing to do
I'm going to put my life on the line for you guys.
And the rest of you is like, no, but you don't have to. And he's like, I'm already going.
I'm going to do it. You can't stop me. Yeah. So, you know, outside of that small mistake, this is still a great macro call, from the side of Bro.
The call is awesome. Identifying that the enemy jungler is on the other end of the map. DRX heavily overinvest because just getting that turret by itself, already a big win. And then this is where, again, look at how far away everyone on DRX is.
Yeah, Baron was at like 5k health when that happened.
Yes, we had some great observing showing that. But, big win. Gold lead now getting bigger. Bro do have the composition that I do think scales better when you look at the individual champions by a pretty substantial margin. And might we be on the cusp of the first Bro win of 2024?
It's looking pretty good. Ooh, nice divide. That's going to get him to safety just barely. You saw that Sponge and Pleta were coming down. So Morgan just really exerting that pressure. I mean, he's already level 16, and he's such a menace in the side lane. He has done so much for the team in terms of just drawing people over, taking 1v1s, really trying to just put on as much pressure onto these objectives, onto these turrets as possible. Look at the difference in gold. He is the largest by far. We do have some skirmishing here in the jungle, trying to get on top of the Xayah here. Envy still having Featherstorm, and they went so deep for him. The Renata ult is pretty huge, though, and Morgan is going to go down. Kars is out of the fight. Penny is still getting damage done. He is still alive in the back there, and they just went way too deep against the Renata. And now DRX are going to move ahead.
And we had been talking about it, but I was starting to lose faith that it would happen, Valdez. But right there, the value of that Renata, absolutely ludicrous. So much burst goes down. Sponge is the one that starts off that play. Envy right from the get-go already going low, and Brion, you don't have to fight in jungle, you're Baron buff. You can just shove the waves, get free gold, but instead, these type of messy fights, look at the value of this Renata ultimate. Look at the bailout there from Planet, waiting until the very last second, and then Teddy, the movement actually stays alive.
Yeah,
We're not done.
Gideon in trouble now, just trying to save the turret, and it's not going to work out. TP comes in, and now Morgan TP's behind them, but can he get anything done here? He's trying to build up that Q3. They're trying to get Rascal. It looks like he is the one straggler, but he is running north at this point in time, as that is the knockup landing from the Yone, and they at least will get that shutdown.
Just got a bounty, man. Well, you gotta kill him immediately. So the gold's even again. The Drakes are even. I really gave a big edge to Brion's comp, but seeing that, I'm like, you know what? It's
You never know.
It's a close game, Valdez. That's what we're learning here, as we do see Gideon, even with some attempted assistance from his team, not actually able to make it. And then DRX feel very safe. This is an Azir turret, not a real turret, so if Rascal just walks out with the rest, he's fine. Doesn't really need to die. Could have been a free kill, but instead a shutdown for Karis, who needs the help. I haven't really seen the Akali been a factor in this game. And now, Satap, really, I gotta say, bot lane obviously, as they have been in, I think, most of the recent DRX games, actually looking quite great. But Satap specifically hasn't died yet. Almost getting towards that death gap. For Brodo, trust your composition.
Rascal in a bit of trouble. That's the CC chain. He's just trying to get out, but it's not going to happen as Karis and Morgan come in. They even had effort as well, just in case. Didn't even need the Rakan. And now a little push going. This is a decent wave, but they're not going to commit to it just yet. They do want to reset here as they get the kill. They're going to get this Ocean Drake here in a moment, and they'll just take the win and run with it.
And the misreads from DRX kind of continue. I really like how much Bro is able to push this, but it's also, you have two people on the top side of the map just taking farm and like shoving a wave, which, sure, you're not in a position to fight for the Drake. That's not the end of the world, but then why is Rascal here alone? I do not have the answers to these questions. I do not know. And I don't think we will know, as Satap just takes a sad look at Aatrox, his buddy, lying on the ground. Fortunately, he's already back. Death Cap's almost done, you know, that's big. I don't know how to judge this game, Veldas. I'm a little bit lost.
I think we just gotta wait for the next team fight, you know? Let's not jump to any conclusions. Both of these teams in a very even game state. You know, as you have mentioned, Bros Comp, 1-3-1, scaling, feels pretty good for them.
They should be,
as a death ball
out of the clear at this point.
As a death ball in a 5v5, though, you've got Renata ults, which is insane, and Satap is pretty fed. So I do feel like DRX have some options, especially with like Aatrox resets and stuff like that, depending on how the fight plays out. So, yeah, basically what we're saying is anything could happen from here. 30 minutes in.
I'm trying to look for the angles, okay? I'm trying to figure out...
Get that protractor out.
Right now... Oh, these type of solo moments could be big. There is a Maw of Malmorshes, though. Kara's also going for the Void Staff, so 100% going for that mega all-in potential. We've seen a lot of Crypt Bloom, but I think in this scenario it makes sense that you want to go for as much pen as possible.
Going in onto Morgan. He's just going to ult out as Gideon goes in. That's confusing. Gideon is going to flash away, as maybe a bit of a split call, not wanting to fight just yet.
And as Satap actually doing an incredible amount of damage, we do see the Xayah can really struggle into Azir because of the range disadvantage. And
oh boy.
Satap's death cap, I'm pretty sure, is done. There's no ultimate on Morgan, no ultimate on Gideon.
He doesn't do too well against the tanks, but, I mean, that's, you know, he doesn't have the Leandries at this point, but he definitely chunks the squishies. This Baron getting pretty low, but the engage is so good, and Satap, he goes down immediately. No reset comes in, as it is chaos here in the pit. Morgan trying to get some damage in, but not quite. His sponge will be flashed on, and will go down, but Rascal, take a look at this Aatrox. He's getting some resets, but it's not enough. Envy and the boys will take it down in an ace in favor of Bro.
And it's effort that starts the engage. gets on top of Satab, and one of their biggest damage threats immediately taken out. And with that, Brion sees their opportunity. This time around, there's enough space. Not everyone gets caught in the choke point. Not enough value from the Renata. And again, the damage needs to be done here by Satab. We see Kara's also doing a good job. DRX just a little bit too much. Satab goes down immediately, and you see they know the necessity of trying to go in here, but it's Envy doing so much damage here. Look at how many autos he's still able to get in. The ultimate, the Fate's Call, unfortunately, not enough. Just a second, you know, on Callista could have been the difference maker. But it's Morgan doing so much damage, actually going for both Jack shows as he just now finishes that, as well as Iceborne Gauntlet. So in these longer fights, so hard to reliably take down. And I think Brion have done it. I think they have rounded the corner. They should be good from here on out. Another Baron, so in about a minute. Things are looking good here for the bros.
Yeah, they're looking really good. I mean, Morgan is basically a tank right now, and Envy's positioning in that last fight was pretty spectacular. And Satab just has to be a bit careful to not get 100 to 0'd like that, maybe relying on the Renata to potentially give himself a second chance, but it did not come through. I thought maybe Rascal was going to do some crazy Aatrox things at the end, but the fact that Envy was still alive till the very end kind of meant that consistent damage was going to be enough to take the fight. So Bro now 5,000 gold the lead. They have the Baron. So far a 2,000 gold here on the power play. But maybe just waiting for this Drake, and they'll accept the Ocean Soul instead of trying to make a big play with the Baron just yet.
And DRX very clearly are still trying to take this game into their own hands. But, oh, love this. Look at this from Brion. Actually using their side lane pressure. There are no answers to either Morgan or Karis, but definitely not to Morgan as we see here. This is under the turret!
He doesn't care about the turret. He has so much armor at this point. It's like Rascal can't stand there. Nobody deals with Karis, and DRX are playing for a single Ocean Drake. They don't get a soul. They're just denying Bro's soul, and they're losing their whole base.
So as long as Bro don't fight here, they should be good.
Yeah, okay, you got the dragon. Guys, your base. The TP's gonna come in, but I mean, Rascal is about to get 2v1'd. Yeah, there's just nothing you can do against a fed Yone.
TP cancelled? I think they could just end.
Yeah, they're just gonna end 2v Nexus at this point. Down will it go, as the redemption is not gonna matter. GG. Brion will take their first game of League of Legends.
A very necessary win here for Brion, going up 1-0 in this battle between two teams yet to find a series win.